your hair?
Yeah.
Let me look. Yeah, looks good.
Not sticking out anywhere.
No, I think your hair looks good. Yeah. Where'd you go?
Behind the bar.
No, to get your hair cut. Can you like scoot in here a little bit? I mean, I know you hate getting close, but
How long we got before we start?
we've already started.
Oh.
we're like, hey, let's make sure. Where's your phone? Let's make sure we're on. Guys, are we on? Oh yeah, we're on. We're on.
I'm always on.
We're on. Well, guys, we are so glad that you are here. You know, just can't say any better than that, right?
Welcome.
Welcome, yeah. Yeah. We are on the air and live at AJ's once again. AJ's Bar, located at 651 South Main Street in historic downtown Grapevine, Texas. Across the street from that immortal wing 6'2" unicorn with a 9-foot wingspan that protects us, right, AJ? What's the damn name of that unicorn? Do you remember?
Believe or imagine?
Oh, Imagine, that's right. Yeah, we
saying
we said believe, and then you said bangacorn.
Bangacorn. Cheers.
To a good show, my brother. What are we drinking today?
8-track from Real Ale.
8-track. Boy, we kind of stuck on that 8-track. It's kind of like a scratch on your record.
We're damn near out of everything else over here. We're out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kegs.
They wiped you out this weekend, didn't they?
Well, you know, the governor come out.
He opened up.
Opened it up, and the Tarrant County judge opened it up, and
opened it up.
Everybody listened.
Everybody opened up, and man, it was packed.
We were blowing and going. It was like pre-COVID days.
Wow.
We were.
It's good. It's
we
good.
Were on fire.
It's good, right? It's good.
Oh, yeah.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. You know who was responsible for that, don't you? Not the governor. Imagine.
Oh, I thought you were going deeper.
Imagine is taking care of us. So, Imagine will take care of you. Just got to come to Grapevine. I do see that you guys, look, AJ, they brought some friends along today. Yeah, some friends. Looks like a neighbor or two and family members, and I see a couple of significant others. And
who's the one with that hump on the back?
That hump, I don't know about that hump. I've never seen that before. But anyway, they're welcome.
Something on the screen, never mind.
Oh no, they're welcome. They're welcome because AJ and I, we like big parties.
Yeah.
Big parties. Hey, my featured guest today is Joseph Satriani, born July 15th, 1956. He is an American rock musician, composer, songwriter, artist, comic book creator, and guitar teacher. Early in his career, Satriani worked as a guitar instructor, with many of his former students achieving fame, such as Steve Vai, Kirk Hammett, and Alex Skolnick, and those are just a few. He then went on to have a successful solo music career. He is a 15-time Grammy Award nominee and has sold over 10 million albums, making him the best-selling instrumental rock guitarist of all time. You also may know him as the guitarist for the supergroup fronted by Sammy Hagar, known as Chickenfoot. And here Joe is now, guys.
Hi, this is Joe Satriani, and you are watching Barside Jive.
Thanks, Joe. We appreciate that, buddy. So, 8-track, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good stuff. I like it. I just figured you got some serious discounts on it, so that's maybe why we're pushing it.
We're out of everything else.
Oh, yeah?
That we like.
Oh. Well, I like 8-track. It's good stuff. You guys come down to AJ's and get you some 8-track. It's all right. Nothing like a real ale. Oh, how we doing on the break? Oh. We're in a Sierra Nevada glass.
I don't even think I got a real glass.
Right. Well, you talk to them. Yeah. Tell them we got to have their glasses. We got a show.
Absolutely.
Well, AJ, I do appreciate the beer. Glad you had a great weekend.
Thank y'all for coming out. It was awesome.
Yeah, you needed it, right?
Might be able to
pay your electric bill.
Maybe be able to re-up my liquor license because it's due on the 13th.
I'd take out a loan. Well, guys, in addition to my guest segment, which comes later in the show, I've got that unconventional news, non-traditional weather, unheard of sports and traffic that's sure to make you go, what the hell did I just see? Delivered with that edginess and that rawness that you crave, but you won't get from those regular dudes on TV. No way, no way, no way, right? So hang on, you don't want to miss a thing. And be sure to stick around till the very end of the show because we always stick something special at the butt end of the show. Isn't that right, AJ? At the butt end. Could be a cool video, maybe a special photo, a gross meme, or even a contest. We may even auction off a piece of AJ's underwear.
The butt, maybe?
Yeah. You got some old underwear we can auction off?
Not anymore.
It's all rags.
One of the things I did.
That's what you used to wipe down the bar.
Yeah. I cleaned out my underwear drawer.
Did you?
Cleaned out a lot of things during COVID.
Yeah. I bet that wasn't hard to do to clean out your underwear drawer. You got, what, 3 pair of the same thing?
Actually, it's pretty hard.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think I probably had about 40 pairs.
Did you really? Oh my God. They all look the same though.
They just get pushed to the back, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. By the way, guys, I do have some useless information because I don't want to disappoint you. Did you know, AJ, that the space between your eyebrows is called the womble? If you remove the unibrow, you got the womble, baby. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Okay, I got another one for you. Did you know your tiny toe is called a minimus?
I just call it a pinky toe.
Thanks for loaning me your feet for this photo.
At least I can be.
You need to get what's her name for shaving. It's the Sasquatch. Seriously.
Man.
How can you have that much hair on your feet, dude?
Some fucked up toes too, man.
Yeah, they're not very pretty.
Man.
It's gross, actually. It's gross.
So boy from Aerosmith.
So the minimus is your tiny toe. It's what, your pinky, right? Pinky toe?
Pinky toe.
Yeah, pinky toe. And now the dot over an I or a J is called the tittle. Yeah, tittle. No, not titty, tittle. Tittle. It's the tittle. It's got an L in it. Tittle. Those little dots are tittles.
I just call them dots.
Yeah. Dots.
But you know.
Well, now you can call them
I'm
tittles.
sophisticated like that.
Yeah. Well, now you can call them tittles and you won't really impress people. Kind of like Skittles, just leave off the S. Yeah. Guys, if you want to know more useless information, give AJ a call on our bar phone. That number is 469-844-1631. AJ knows everything. He's a world of advice, right? It's all stored up there, locked in the machine there, locked in the machine. Guys, be sure to search Barside Jive live at youtube.com and click subscribe and then click that little bitty bell. Damn it, Tony's not here. To receive notifications when I post my premium content, which is free to all of you guys because you're just really premium people. Premium for premium. And now a word from our friends over at some of our favorite chips, Doritos.
And there's your beautiful baby.
Any day now.
Really? You're eating Doritos? He's eating Doritos on my ultrasound. Do you see what I have to do?
I know.
Give me that.
Hey Jay, I got a joke.
All right.
You ready? Sure? Okay, so this guy was in a bar drinking beer. He would finish his beer, pull out his wallet, and look at the picture in his wallet. It was of his wife. Order another beer, take out his wallet, looks at the picture of his wife, and he did this several times. And finally, the bartender asked him, "Why, after you finish a beer, do you take out your wallet and look at a photo of your wife?" The guy says, "As soon as she starts looking better to me, I go home." Don't tell Megan.
I don't even have a picture of Megan.
That would. Oh. dude.
I don't have any pictures.
Yeah, don't tell her. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Nothing like a little levity in our show. And it's time again for that segment with all those big-ass raving reviews. Applause. Breaking news. Yes, time. Are you ready? Oh, we got to have a drink. What are we drinking today, AJ?
Well, I'm having bourbon.
And I'm having tequila.
You're having tequila.
All right. Tequila. Here we go. Yum, yum, yum. That wasn't Altos? What was that? That was different.
Maestro Double.
Maestro Double. It was pretty good,
Yeah.
actually. You know, we need it. Do you have mezcal?
I do.
We'll do some mezcal sometime. I already like that.
It's popular.
Smoky.
It's popular. They,
Smoky,
They
yeah.
want them. They want them in margaritas, smoky margaritas.
Yeah, I like that smoky flavor.
Well, I like smoke.
Smoke. Yeah, you do. Well, you make a lot of it over there on the side of the building. All right, guys, back to breaking news. Oh, did we do our intro? News you can trust. Not snooze news like on regular TV, but we got the best right here, don't we, AJ? I mean, our crack team of professionals do research all week for our news articles.
They good people.
They are good people.
They good people.
They're good people. And our top news story, straight in from the Barside Jive news desk, Governor Cuomo capitalizes on sex scandal with new romance novel. And there it is, guys. Hot off the press. Albany, New York. New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo has found himself in the middle of a sex scandal, or several. When he found himself in hot water last year, though, for killing a bunch of seniors, he released a book about it. So according to unnamed sources, he called up his literary agent and quickly got a book proposal together. The governor landed a cool 7-figure deal in no time, and now you can pick up Hot New York Nights wherever books are sold. Nice, nice. But there's a rush on that one.
Isn't it funny how the mighty have fallen?
Well, you know what goes around comes around.
You know,
What does the Bible say? You reap what you sow. Ooh, I've done some reaping too.
But you ain't in public office.
No, but still.
I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did, because this guy went from, you know, probably would have been the next president to.
Yeah, they were probably looking at him as a candidate.
He's now the brother of the guy from CNN.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear either one of them.
Right. Well, guys, 600-page stimulus bill to be disguised as nudie mag to trick senators into reading it.
Well, you got to read it to know what's in it.
That's right.
Oh, you got to pass it first.
Yeah. And then they have time to read it. Well, in Washington, D.C., as part of a novel new plan to get senators to actually read the legislation they are voting on, the 600-page stimulus bill will be disguised as something they can relate to, an old-school nudie mag, in hopes that they'll open it up. Oh, what's this? Said one undisclosed congressman as he saw the giant stack of papers on his desk with an easy-to-recognize Playboy cover on top. The hope is that congressmen will read through at least a few dozen pages of the legislation before they realize that only 1% of the $1.9 trillion package goes for vaccines and is loaded with pet projects like a bridge between New York and Ontario and a tunnel in San Francisco that have nothing to do with the pandemic or economic recovery. Some nude photos were slipped in throughout the pages to keep Congress reading, though there is little hope that their attention will be held beyond page 30 or 40. Even if we just get them to glance at it, that would be a win, said the citizens advocacy group that came up with the idea. Hopefully they'll leaf through some of the pages and maybe spot a few $100 billion here or there that they can cut before they saddle our grandchildren with more suffocating debt. So we're not holding our breath, though.
They're going to give us, what, 1,400, well,
Unless you make over, what, 80 a year or something like that?
What is it? It's like $5,500 what it's going to burden each taxpayer.
Yeah, yeah. And one congressman had this great idea. Dump everything that's not related to the pandemic, and you could give everybody that's getting stimulus $10,000 instead of $1,400. 10,000. Now you talk about some serious help, but nah, that.
What the fuck, man?
That didn't.
Really?
That didn't fly. Oh, phone. Guys, we can't talk during the show unless you're calling AJ on the bar phone. So these news items are trending, guys. QAnon says Trump will make his chess move to unseat Biden within just a few days. Biden still can't remember who he put in charge of Alzheimer's research.
I don't know what room in the White House he's in.
Women's History Month was canceled for implying there is such a thing as women. And Congress authorizes research to determine things to look for in cats to determine if they could be Satan. Well, there you have it, guys. How about some rock history for this day, March 8th? Oh, there it is. That be the Fillmore. Well, back in 1968, on this day, Bill Graham opens the legendary Fillmore East in an abandoned movie theater in New York City.
Billy Graham?
No, not Billy Graham, not the evangelist. Bill Graham. The opening acts are Albert King and Tim Buckley, along with Big Brother and the Holding Company. That would be Janis freaking Joplin from Texas. Yeah, we like those Texas artists, don't we? Oh, you ready? Okay. Paul McCartney. 1973 was the year. On this day, Paul McCartney pleads guilty to charges of growing marijuana outside his Scottish countryside farm and is fined $240. Paul says that a fan gave him the seeds and he didn't know what they would grow. Look at that look on his face. He knew. Look at that mouth. He knew.
I've seen that look so many times.
Yeah, he knew.
Can I search your pockets?
He
Well,
knew.
first of all, can I tell you these ain't my pants?
Yeah, right. Right. These aren't my pants. Oh, man. Okay, well, here's Ron. Ron Pigpen McKernan of the Grateful Dead died of a stomach hemorrhage and liver failure brought on by alcohol poisoning. The dude was just 27 years old.
God damn, how much did he drink?
A lot, I guess. More than we do. I hope. Well,
I doubt it.
I don't know. The New Musical Express on this day back in, what year was this, AJ? Back in, anyway. The New Musical Express announces that the Rolling Stones have chosen Wayne Perkins. I bet you guys have never heard of Wayne. Wayne Perkins to replace the recently departed Mick Taylor. Mick didn't depart, like leave Earth, but he just left the band. 2 weeks later, the Stones themselves will issue a statement saying that Ron Wood will now fill the position. Mick Jagger would say, no matter how great Wayne Perkins is, he plays very similar to Mick Taylor. Wow. That was a photo of Wayne and Keith Richards. And hey, those guys, yeah, of course he's still alive. He'll outlive all of us.
We need to start taking better care of this planet then.
I know, because we got to leave it to him.
Leave it to him and Willie.
Mm-hmm. Stones, Keith and Mick, they say, he's an awesome guitar player. That wasn't the deal. The reason they replaced him is because they really, Stones is an English band, and they really thought an English dude ought to be in the band. That's why they chose Ronnie Wood.
Fucking racist.
Because, Wayne Perkins is from Alabama.
It's just racist.
Can you believe it? An Alabama dude well, nowadays, yeah. They probably couldn't do it. Yeah, they get in trouble. They would get canceled. Canceled out. Okay, here's a photo of Jefferson Airplane. This is the reunion photo because on this day back in 1990, Rolling Stone magazine let Jefferson Airplane know exactly how they felt about the group's reforming when they named their new album as the most unwanted comeback of the year. How rude. That Rolling Stone magazine, they're a bunch of dicks.
What a bunch of assholes.
They're a bunch of dicks. The LP featured all of the main members from the band's glory days, but little has been heard from the Airplane since this embarrassment. You bands out there want a good review? Just talk to us. We'll screw Rolling Stone. Those guys are fucking on drugs. They're on drugs. Give us a call. Call the bar phone. We'll give you a good review.
It's good beer.
Yes, sir. It's good beer. Well, you know what, AJ? That reminds me of on this day in 2015, Lou Soloff, the trumpeter who played the memorable solo on the album version of Blood, Sweat, and Tears' Spinning Wheel. Remember that song?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a cool song. Died of a heart attack at the age of 71. Oh, Lou. Gone.
Not forgotten.
Not forgotten. That's right. I think we got one more, AJ. Oh, back in 2016, George Martin, who signed the Beatles to EMI in 1962, went on to produce most of their catalog, passed away at the age of 90. In total, Martin produced 23 number ones on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, 19 of which were by the Beatles. He also produced chart-topping hits for Paul McCartney, Say, Say, Say with Michael Jackson, and Ebony and Ivory with Stevie Wonder. Elton John, Candle in the Wind, 1997, and America, Sister Golden Hair. That was one of your faves. In a statement to the press, McCartney said, "From the day that he gave the Beatles our first recording contract to the last time I saw him, he was the most generous, intelligent, and musical person I've ever had the pleasure to know." Wow. That's it, guys, for my daily dose of rock history, which means it's time for COVID Update. And Texas governor hailed as conservative hero for ending the unconstitutional mandates that he implemented.
What did Uncle Joe say about it?
Austin, Texas. Conservatives celebrated a major victory for the cause this week as Texas Governor Greg Abbott ended the unconstitutional mandates that he himself implemented last year. Texans lauded the governor's move to fight tyranny by striking down his own mandates. Great job, Governor Abbott. You really ended those tyrannical edicts that you yourself put in place last year, said one Texan as he drank his Bud Light.
I didn't get a rump out of that guy.
Look, whoever put these in place was a real tyrant, said Governor Abbott. I'm taking a bold stand against these unconstitutional mandates by allowing businesses to fully reopen and knocking down the unconstitutional mask mandate. Texas, we've been freed from tyrannical dictates of 2020 me. And there you have it, guys. That's pretty ironic, right? I mean, hey, yeah, I'm glad he opened us up, but why did he institute that crap in the first place? Yeah. You know what? Let's just do sports. Okay, around here, before we do sports, we stand for the national anthem. You ready? Today here at Barside Jive, we bring you...
Fucking amateurs.
What the hell? Good God. Man, these phones, they just start jiving on their own. Remember, dude, we got to do that birthday video thing. Okay. Today here at Barside Jive, we bring you two women bobsledding. Bobsleigh or bobsled is a team winter sport that involves making timed runs down narrow, twisting, banked ice tracks in a gravity-powered sleigh. As if you didn't know. Modern bobsleigh teams compete to complete a downhill route in the fastest times. And we got to quit drinking before the show, AJ. I mean, this warm-up session we're having is like, it's hitting me about mid-show. And an aggregate time from several runs is used to determine the winners. The two-women event was first contested at the 2002 Winter Olympics. Now, for a closer look at two women bobsledding, let's go to Vancouver, Canada, where British bobsledder Gillian Cook and Nicola Minichiello.
That's how you say it.
Do you like how I said that? Yeah. I knew you'd correct me if I was wrong.
No, you got it. You nailed that one.
Thank you. Are gearing up for a run. Ready, guys?
I'm ready.
Okay.
In St. Moritz prachtige gespierde atletes in nauwsluitende pakjes. Dan moeten de hoefijzers nog eens gekuist worden. En dan maken we ons klaar. Pat. Het is gebeurd, zou Erik van Looy zeggen. Bobslee met de billen bloot.
Well, I don't know about her sledding skills, but her mooning skills are righteous. And just when you thought you'd seen everything, hey, let's give her a little toast.
Hey, I like it.
We're drinking to her. What was her name, Nicola?
Who cares? Nice
Who
booty.
cares?
Nice booty.
Woo! That's yummy. And now a word from our favorite friends over at Foghat Cellars.
Hi DC, thanks for having us on your show. And for you folks, I'm Roger of the band Foghat, and these are our wines. Foghat Cellars. This is a Chardonnay from Monterey County, absolutely delicious, 2014. We have 2013 Pinot Noir from Monterey County. It's absolutely fabulous, a wonderful drinking wine. If you like Pinots, you'll love it. This is a Cabernet Sauvignon from Paso Robles. All our wines come from Central Coast of California. Steve Rasmussen is our winemaker, though in fact myself and Linda actually get involved in the making of some of our wines. Drink, enjoy, go to foghatcellars.com to find out how to get it. Thanks, bye.
What you got there, AJ?
I got me a little bottle of Pinot Noir from Foghat.
Foghat Cellars.
Roger sent it to me.
That's right.
So I think next week, instead of beer, we're gonna drink this.
Ooh, we're gonna crack open that bottle.
Yeah.
We're gonna dedicate that bottle to Roger and Linda Earl.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Linda.
There you go. It's gonna be fun. We're going to do some wine next week, guys. We're going
to wine it
change up. We're going to change up. Do some wine. Hey, you want to remind them about that coupon?
And remember, if you order your bottle, you type in Barside Jive, you get a 20% discount off your purchase.
20, that's like not 5, not 10,
20.
not 50, 20.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's huge.
Massive.
Massive. Enormous.
Huge.
Yeah.
Humongous.
Big.
Gigantic.
Big. What about that autograph? Can they get an autograph bottle?
You can also get an autograph bottle by the original Roger Earl, the only remaining member of Foghat.
That's right. And it's just a few dollars more, and you can hang that on your badass wall.
What's a couple more dollars?
That's right. What's a couple more
I mean, we're fixing to get $1,400.
That's right. Spend a little of that $1,400 on something important. Like an autograph bottle by Roger Earl.
Make it right.
Make it right. Do it up. I love the weather, AJ. I love the weather. Man, we've had some awesome weather. This
68, 69.
Oh, it's been so great, right?
Feels like it's about 75 degrees.
Oh, it's been tremendous.
A little bit of a light breeze.
From your Barside Jive Global Weather Center, where we try to stick to the current weather since forecasts are always so wrong, even our own. Here we go, AJ. You bring it.
Today it's about, what, 64 to, fuck.
Just ignore it.
About 64 degrees
Amateurs.
today. Supposed to get up to 70. Air quality's good. Winds out of the south about 6 miles. Humidity is 55%, but it doesn't really feel that moist. Sun is going to set at 6:30. We got about, what, 7,
Word of the day,
more
moist.
freaking days until we can get out of this jam.
Yeah, but dude, it's 6, it's up to 6:30. It was like 4 o'clock, and now it's 6:30. I'll take it. I am done with that, Davey.
I'm coming to work when it's dark. I'm going home when it's dark.
Hey, what moon phase are we in, AJ? Because that's important.
The second frontier lobal something.
You don't know?
Just make sure.
You want to look it up?
Frontier lobal something.
You want to look it up? Frontier lobal. It's probably Gibbons Maximus or something. I don't even know what that shit means. What does it mean? What moon phase? What does that mean? It's got to have something to do with horoscopes.
I bet it's got something to do with those rings.
Did you guys know that AJ and I were born in the same month? He was born on the 1st. I was born on the 11th. Now, isn't that interesting? It's not just coincidental, guys. He went to MacArthur High School in Houston. I went to MacArthur High School in Irving. We were both cops, both retired, both went overseas with DynCorp. He went to Afghanistan, I went to the West Bank.
Both beautiful.
Now, there are some differences. I'm rock and roll and he's total country machine. But let's go to, we're not through with our weather yet, but did you find the moon phase?
Well, I can't get the shit to open.
It's damn amateurs.
What the fuck? I type in that and I get something in Spanish.
Fucking amateurs.
Look at that.
Spanish.
Moon phase, and I get
put-
Amtex Auto.
Don't put that in there as your preferred language. Guys, I hope you're still with us. Dude, we've been doing this show for like going on 5 years, and we never cared if we had one view. We just did it anyway.
This one here today, man, is going to be a little longer, I think.
Oh yeah, we got to check on Joe. Joe's probably waiting in the wings. We got to get with Joe, because yeah. Did you find that moon phase?
I think my shit got hacked.
Dude,
what the actual fuck is going on here?
Okay, guys, well, let's just go over to Lucy Vakova in our Prague Action Center for a closer look at weather conditions in the Czech Republic.
Da, всем теперь. 1, 2. I chciałam wejść.
Okay, what about that? What about that moon phase,
I can't
AJ?
even see now. It's Waning crescent.
What does that mean?
No clue. Oh. I guess it's something to do with how it's a fucking third quarter. I don't know. Maybe it's a football game.
Who cares? Who cares? Okay, guys. That was great. A great report there,
Whoever
Lucy.
Beautiful.
Guys, that reminds me of a life hack. A life hack for dudes.
Can you put that on Facebook and YouTube now?
What?
The news. What we just watched.
Oh, yeah. That was the weather, dude. That was the weather. But that reminds me of a life hack for dudes, AJ. And I really need your help with this. So, have you ever wondered why A, B, C, D, 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 E, and F are the letters used to define bra sizes? Have you ever wondered?
No.
Could you try to figure out what those letters stand for? You have any ideas? I mean, I think it's time that you become informed in this area.
I don't even know if I can talk about this.
Yeah, you can.
We just going to get mad.
Okay, so A, what's A?
Almost.
Almost poops. That's right. What about B?
Barely.
B is barely there. What about C?
Close.
We're talking can't complain.
Okay.
What about a D cup?
Damn.
Now, give it, show them your expression.
Damn.
You're going to describe it in a non-verbal sense. Okay, ready? What's an E?
Exceptional?
That's
Enormous?
Oh, we've got double D.
Damn!
And F.
Oh no, fake!
Yeah, F for fake. So guys,
Hey, I'd be just like, fuck.
you know now, you're informed. That's our life hack,
Are they really fake though?
just for you. Yeah,
I don't believe that.
yeah, they can be. But let me remind you that that's your global weather from your Barside Jive meteorologist, kinda, here at Barside Jive. Our weather was brought to you by our friends over at HSBC, AJ.
The English believe it's a slur on your host's food if you don't clear your plate. Whereas the Chinese feel you're questioning their generosity if you do. At HSBC, we never underestimate the importance of local knowledge. Which is why we have local banks staffed by local people in over 80 countries across the globe. HSBC, the world's local bank.
Guys,
So I got a little experience with that.
yeah.
You, in some cultures like that, if you don't leave a little piece of food on your plate, means you're still hungry.
Mm-hmm.
You leave a little bit of food on there, they won't bring you anymore.
Don't clean your plate
Yeah.
like you do here in
Not
Texas.
here in Texas.
Mm-mm. Guys, let's take a quick look at traffic. What do you say? What do you say, AJ? Ready for some traffic?
Yeah.
Let's go. How's it looking out there, AJ?
Clear.
That's all you can say, just clear.
Non-existent.
Okay.
It's Monday.
Yeah, it is.
People should be drinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
They ain't drinking.
Well, because there's nothing.
Dude, we're doing a show.
I know. It's just habit. Okay, so because there's no traffic here in Grapevine, in historic downtown Grapevine, Texas, let's go to our local affiliate in Houston, Texas for a look at traffic conditions in the Space City. It's your hometown.
Realize that many of you are still at home, but if you are heading out this weekend, there is some weekend construction you need to be aware of.
Our new traffic anchor, Anna V. Reyes, has a look at this weekend's traffic.
Yes, Veronica, we are out here live. We're at exit 57 on I-24 East. If you're looking at traffic, don't expect too many delays. As you can see out here, things look to be moving along just fine. Over my left shoulder, you can see some minor road construction in the area, but that hasn't affected things much this morning. And oh, by the way, just real quick, my name is pronounced Anavid, not Anavid. So if I'm going to come out here and do these live traffic reports and literally risk my life, I'd appreciate if somebody back in the studio could learn how to pronounce my name.
Oh, I'm sorry. You got it, Anavid.
Yeah.
And what's it look like southbound?
I mean, just like in the grand scheme of life, think about what we're doing right now. I'm doing a live traffic report on television. This traffic report is going to be obsolete in 3 minutes. I mean, I know I have a report that there's construction in the area, obviously, as you know, but there's a wreck about a mile ahead. And so this is going to be, all this traffic is going to be changed in literally about 60 seconds. So
It looks like you've got an inside source on that wreck. Have you been in contact with the police chief?
Have I talked to the police chief? No, I have not. I've actually just literally looked on Google Maps, and every time you guys send me out here for a live traffic report, I literally just look on Google Maps. Oh, look, traffic. I look on Google Maps and report to you what I see here. And I don't know if you guys knew this back at the station, but every person in America has access to this.
Well, it looks cold. And it sounds like you may have woken up on the wrong side of the bed.
Yeah, I don't know, or woken up on the wrong side of the bed, or most people are still in bed because no one's watching the local news for traffic. Like in terms of figuring out the best route to work and traffic patterns, I can think of off the top of my head 57 other ways to do this more efficiently. Google Maps, Apple Maps, Bing Maps. My Uncle Ricky still has a TomTom. You can plug the address into that. I don't know. Go to a truck stop and rent a CB and talk to one of these truck drivers. He could probably tell you a better way to know what the traffic is. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out why.
Thank you, Anna V.
Oh, we're live. What did y'all think about that? Well, that'll bring us up to our featured guest segment. AJ, is that right already? Yeah, traffic's done. It's that time, guys. Sponsored by Hip and Hippie. Hip and Hippie is a planet-loving company known for its high-quality, earth-friendly, 100% recyclable candle line and those natural body care products. It's what keep us looking and smelling so good.
Hey, you think they got that one candle?
Yeah.
That one, what's her name, put out?
Oh, no,
Smells Like Her.
No, the Wet Pussy candle.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they have that. It's no, train's here. It's no wonder eco-supporting people love Hip and Hippie. Guys, as I mentioned earlier today, my featured guest is that legendary guitarist, Joe Satriani. Woo-hoo! Joe, baby. The world's most commercially successful solo guitar performer with 6 gold and platinum discs to his credit, including 1 more gold award for the debut album by his supergroup band, Chickenfoot, and sales in excess of 10 million copies. Joe has called Steve Vai, as well as Metallica's Kirk Hammett and Testament's Alex Skolnick, guitar students. Whoa. He has also been asked by Mick Jagger to be his lead guitarist on his first ever solo tour back in 1988. And in 1993, he was asked to join Deep Purple as a temporary replacement for Ritchie Blackmore during a Japanese tour. And that just scratches the surface of what Joe has accomplished. So let's talk to Joe and find out more. He is back again from last week because we ran into overtime. So we're glad to have Joe back, but I'll be back with Joe. Thank you. After this quick break. This break. You ready? Say break.
Break.
Hey guys, welcome back to Barside Jive. It is time for me to introduce my guest today, Joe Satriani, American rock musician, songwriter, composer, guitar instructor, and the world's most commercially successful solo guitar performer with 6 gold and platinum discs to his credit and sales in excess of 10 million copies. He is also a 15-time Grammy Award nominee. And then some of you may know him best as the guitarist alongside former Van Halen member Sammy Hagar on vocals, Michael Anthony on bass, and Red Hot Chili Peppers Chad Smith on drums in a band called Chickenfoot, which earned Joe a gold award for the band's debut album. Well, Joe, it is awesome having you here today.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's great to be here. Here and there at the same time.
You know, you bring up Steve Vai's name periodically. Obviously, he's pretty talented, but dude, yes. you were the first one to give him guitar lessons.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. You know, I got asked to play in this band, and we started when I was 14. I hadn't been playing even a year, and we started playing Car Place high school dance, and you know, parties at people's backyards, and free concert in the park and that kind of thing, you know, battle of the bands. And then all of a sudden, kids started knocking on my door saying, hey, we saw you play at the dance. Can you teach me how to play guitar? And I thought, well, okay, I'm kind of a beginner too, but I could use some money for strings. So, you know, my mother was a teacher her whole life. And so there was even like in the basement, they were teaching materials, you know, like paper and pencils and rulers and graph paper. And I thought, okay, I think I can figure this out, you know? So Steve, along with a friend of his, he was one of my first students. That was the first time I learned that hard lesson that a kid 3 years younger than you can show up and within a couple of weeks scare the hell out of you with their talent, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, I was just a kid. A young boy. I mean, our brains are not formed. We're basically hormones, muscles, bones, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not too much going on in the old noggin when you're, you know, girls are a little bit more advanced, but if you're a teenage boy, it's still crazy, you know?
Yeah.
But even then I knew, and it was just like, I was watching, Steve was like 12 at the time, and I thought, this is amazing. He is going to play all the stuff I'm showing him better than me. And I bet he's going to do it in like 6 months or something, you know. I was really amazed at that. And it was a good sort of slap in the face.
Yeah.
To remind myself that early on, it's not about that. You're going to meet tons of players. It's just the world, like Mother Nature is just going to keep throwing better versions of humans at us forever. Yeah. And so get used to it, you know?
Yeah. It doesn't matter if you're in music or in sports. It's the same. Besides Steve Vai, there's been many others that you've taught, but Kirk Hammock's another one that I think about. Oh, you've got to think, God, I taught those guys. It's got to make you feel good.
Oh, it's great. I tell you, when I moved out to the San Francisco Bay Area, I was living in the town of Berkeley, and I was teaching at this little guitar store because I lived across the street. And so it was an easy thing to do while I was working on my local band. And I wind up teaching, you know, Kirk Hammett, Larry Lalonde from Primus. He was in Possessed at the time. Guys in Exodus, Alex Skolnick from Testament, amazing musician, really, just like Steve Vai, just totally brilliant, made to play guitar, you know. And David Bryson from Counting Crows, Kevin Cadigan, Third Eye Blind. I mean, it was a Charlie Hunter. I mean, it was just spread all the way across. Each kid was so totally different.
Yeah.
They had different musical tastes. They had different ideas about how they wanted to succeed. But one thing was true, we were a team. And if anybody could get a break, everyone would support that guy to get a break. And so when each one slowly started getting a record deal and going on tour and stuff, everybody was cheering, you know what I mean? There wasn't a competition. It was just like, wow, You know, we've been playing guitar in the back room of this little store, and now we're on stage, and now we got a record deal.
Yeah.
And so it was something to celebrate, you know. And
Wow.
so it was really a good feeling, you know, and we still talk to each other and we see each other out there on the road, or, you know, we do things together, which is great, you know.
You know, there's a story I want you to tell me about. I think it was 1988. You were recruited by Mick Jagger as his lead guitarist for his first solo tour. So how did that happen?
Well, we, so in January of '88, I gave my last guitar lesson, and it just happened to be to Kirk Hammett, right?
Okay.
And he was going off on tour. I was going off on my very first tour to promote Surfing with the Alien. I literally had no idea what I was going to do. I'd never had any experience playing instrumental music, leading a band on stage. I was always in a band with a singer, you know, or singing myself. So it was a big step for me to get this thing going. We had a little 3-week tour planned, a lot of work, 2 shows a night, small clubs. And after about a week, I'm in Boston, and I realized I'm losing like $7-8 grand a week. That even though I'm Surfing with the Alien is on the charts, I still can't get paid well enough at these clubs to pay for a tour bus and hotel rooms.
Right.
Out of the blue, which is how most things happen in my life, I get a call from my former agent, who's working for Bill Graham Management again in San Francisco. And I'd done lots of shows with Bill Graham Management, you know, opening up for Eddie Money or bands like that.
Right.
So they knew who I was as a local guy. Turns out Bill Graham is producing the Mick Jagger tour, and they've been in New York City for months getting this tour ready. Jeff Beck has left, and they're auditioning like 50, 60 guitar players, and Mick is going crazy. He's looking for something, right? And anyway, so my buddy Kevin calls me up and he says, "You're not going to believe this. How would you like to audition for Mick Jagger?" And I was like laughing, like, you got to be kidding me. And I said, "Well, I have to do it just so I can experience it." But I said, you know, I'm not going to he's never going to pick me. I don't look right. I'm not, you know, I'm not a stadium rocker, you know. I'm playing instrumental music in clubs, you know.
Right, right.
So anyway, I flew down, and I go in there. I start jamming with the band, and we're just having fun. I mean, the musicians were insane. Simon Phillips, Doug Wimbish, Phil Ashley,
Wow.
Lisa Fisher singing. I mean, it was amazing. And then Mick comes running in the room, and he's all just like the funniest, happiest guy you ever met in your life. And he's like, "Oh, Joe, that sounds amazing. I've been listening to it on the other side of the door. It's great. Let's just keep playing whatever let's play this, that." And we were just playing blues songs and Hendrix songs and just, you know, having fun. And then he turns to me and he says, "Man, I really want you to be in the band." And I just thought, that's insane. You know, it's like, this is too good to be true. Right.
Wow.
And he says to me, "So what are you doing anyway? Can you do it?" And I said, "Well, I'm on tour right now." And I said, "But I could certainly, you know, get rid of the rest of the dates." I said, "I'm playing tomorrow night and the night after at the Bottom Line, which is a small club in New York City." And I remember blurting out, "Why don't you come and sing a song?" And then I thought, oh, you know, you crossed the line.
Yeah.
But it was too late.
Yeah.
I'd already said it. And he just went like, "Yeah, I'll be there." And then he left, and then everyone looked at me like, "Well, congratulations," you know.
Wow.
And sure enough, we're playing the next night, and I told the guys, "This is really weird, but I think Mick Jagger is going to show up." And they're like, "Yeah, right. He's not going to show up." And sure enough, second set, all of a sudden Mick comes backstage, and he's just like a kid. He's like, "Hey, Joe, how's it going? Yeah, what do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, let's do Red House." And he goes, "Okay, all right, I'll see you out there."
Awesome.
He jumped on stage, and the place went insane, you know.
Oh, I imagine.
Yeah.
They had no idea.
No, they had no idea, and no one had, you know, the press wasn't aware that I was going to be in the band. So they just couldn't freaking believe. I mean, the Bottom Line is a small club.
Yeah.
I don't know how, 400 people, maybe less.
Yeah.
So when Mick Jagger stood on stage, everyone could have just reached out and touched him. You know what I mean? And he's a guy they usually see,
yeah,
at a stadium, and there
50
he was,
yards back.
And and the guy's he just got it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
He just knows how to do it. So so I spent that year. We did 2 tours that year, and just fantastic. He was by example, taught me what working really hard is all about, and how much he loved his audience. He'd do anything to make a show great, and he was good with his band members and his people. Anytime something good happened with me that whole year, he would say, "What do you need? You need a room for an interview. You need whatever you need. This is your moment. We got to take advantage of it." So he helped my career as much as he could. He gave me a solo spot in the middle of a show, which was really great.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and through the Japanese tour, and then later in the year, we went to Australia, New Zealand, Indonesia, and it was a fantastic year. The total transformed my career, or gave me one. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. Well, you've had a remarkable career or life thus far. Guys, you're watching Barside Jive with my guest, the legendary guitarist, Joe Satriani. All right, Joe. So tell me what it was like touring with Deep Purple.
Oh, that was great. I got a call after I'd finished touring. One of my managers called me up, and he goes, "Hey, how would you like to replace Richie Blackmore in Deep Purple?" And I was like, "That is like the most horrible thing ever." Click. I love Richie Blackmore, and just the thought of having to, I just like, I couldn't even. But then, of course, I'm sitting there for the next 30 minutes, and it's festering inside of me, like, what an idiot! Like, I've just been invited to play with the great Deep Purple. So I called him back up, and I said, "Did you say no yet?" And he goes, "No, I was just waiting for you to change your mind." So I'm on the phone with Roger Glover.
Wait a minute. You were kidding him, right?
No, I was serious. I knew from being so close to Steve Vai that it was really tough when you replace somebody famous. And Steve had to replace Warren Cucurullo in Frank Zappa, Yngwie in Alcatraz, and sort of in a way he had to replace Eddie Van Halen when he joined David Lee Roth, and then Whitesnake. I mean, it's kind of crazy that he had to go through all that before people really embraced him as a solo artist. And so I knew his pain in having to deal with that. And I grew up listening to Deep Purple, and Richie's got a guitar, and I just thought, well, that'd be stupid, right? To have to imitate him, or to look at his fans and say, "Hi, I'm not him."
Oh, yeah.
But I thought I really would love to play with the guys in Deep Purple. I just got to try it, because it worked, and it kind of worked playing with Mick. It was fun. I didn't know if they were going to be as cool as Mick, and they were. That's what was so great about it, because the band was great musicians, really great people, and they said, "Joe, play whatever you want. Don't even worry about what Richie played. If you want to do his part, you can go ahead, but if you don't, it's completely up to you." And so it was really a wonderful situation, and I had a week to learn the Battle Rages On show, and then went to Japan and did the 3-week tour there. A few months later, we went back out for 2 months in Europe, and by then I had more time to understand the show, and I was able to put myself into it a little bit more. But the first tour was rough, and because I was nervous that I would be able to memorize the whole show. And then the cassettes that Roger sent me of the last show they did only had Blackmore on half of it, because Richie had walked off stage halfway through the show. So I didn't even have a guitar part to figure out what he was doing. There were some emotions there that were intense. They were a band that was kind of terrorized by some family strife, you know what I mean, within the band. And so I just, when I got in there, I just said, look, this is my approach. I am going to celebrate Deep Purple with the fans like I'm one of them. I'm not going to sit there and dress and pose like Richie and do that. I can't do that, And but it turned out great. And although I knew I was never going to be able to, be a full-time member, it wasn't something that was in my heart, to leave my solo career. That one, year that I spent with them was really amazing. It was just a blessing just to get to know them and to play with them, and to Ian and Roger and John. It's just, wow, amazing people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wow. Deep Purple, man. That's,
yeah.
In 96, you started a really cool project known as G3.
Yeah.
Right? And then later on G4, right?
Yes.
and you,
yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, you featured so many heavy hitters in the rock world in that project. Wow.
This is my idea that I brought into the management one day. I said, thank you guys. I'm touring the world. I'm selling hundreds of thousands of albums every time I put them out. I said, this is really amazing. However, I said, how come I'm all alone? It's like every time I'm in London, my friend's in Tokyo. And then when I finally get to LA, everybody's in Milan. And I said, when do I get to hang out with all my guitar playing buddies? Like I thought when I was like in high school, I thought we all, when you got famous, you all hung out together.
Right.
I said, I'm isolated, I'm like this instrumental guitar player, and it's like I can't hang with anybody because I'm always working. So I said, what if we put together a tour where we all had to hang out with each other because we were playing together every night? And it took, about 3 or 4 hours to brainstorm the idea that if you put together your own traveling festival, and you try to fit it into an evening's show plan, like people probably don't know, when you go and you play it at a theater, you rent the place for the night, and there's a curfew, so you can't go in there and say, hey, we're going to play from 6 to 3 in the morning. They go, no, that's not how it works. You hit the stage at 7:30 and you're gone by 10:45. After that, it's $8,000 a minute,
Yeah.
So you have to fit in. You got to fit your show in, and you have to be invited to play. You don't just show up. So not only did we have to brainstorm how many people would be willing to be part of the tour, and how many could we fit within that, typical curfew, but how can we sell it to the local promoters so that they invite us, and book us, basically.
Right.
And so we had to whittle it down to 3 people, because that way everyone would get 45 minutes to an hour, which means it would be attractive for the other guitar players to come because they could play their new single, do their favorite songs, and 45 minutes is at least enough to where they feel like they've played that night.
Right.
And then they'd have to guarantee that they would show up for 30 minutes at the end of the night for the jam. And it took me a year, I kid you not, to convince Steve Vai and Eric Johnson to do it, because all of us were grown up and were taught, it was hammered into us, never stand next to someone who might play better than you. Like the old showbiz thing, never work with kids or animals.
Yeah.
Because they always show you up.
Yeah.
So, but I said, you know what, I'm going to do the opposite. I said, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to let everybody know I've invited 2 people who are way better than me, and we're just going to show you, we are going to celebrate guitar playing with you. It's not about me trying to play as good as Steve or whatever. I said, let's just assume we've all made up our mind already. Like, you think he's the greatest, you think he's the greatest. I'm okay with that. Now let's go make some music and have fun. And it really worked. And they were very nervous about it until the first show. And we did it at the Concord Pavilion here in the Bay Area. And when they when those 4,000 people stood up and went crazy, they finally understood what I was talking about, which is it's not about competition. The audience is actually smarter than you think. They're just so happy to hear us play together, and we're not playing our latest single or whatever. We're not like, it's not show busy, you know what I mean? It's
right.
We're playing the greatest songs that we all love, and we're letting our guard down, and we're going, wow, look, he just played that. I'm going to try to do something here, and they get to watch it live, you know. And I tell you, every night, you know, we walk off stage, the first thing we do is start talking to each other like little kids, like, how did you do that? Oh man, that thing in the middle of this song, and you did this, and you got to show me tomorrow how you did that. And so the community is really great, backstage and on stage. And I think the audience knew that ahead of everybody. And so that they made it a success for us, you know.
Right. I want to talk to you about Chickenfoot, but this is usually the part of the show where I ask the guest to sing a little song. Did you have something prepared?
No. I can tell you a funny story about singing. So you know, when you go to sing, like, well, I think I got a microphone here. Where is it? Let me, in my drawer here. This is so funny. It has to be illustrated. So you get a mic stand, right? And then you get, here's a 57, right? And so normally, you know, you're singing around like this. And if you're singing quietly, maybe you got a really expensive German microphone in front of you like that. And so we're doing I forget what song it is. We're doing a Chickenfoot song, and we're at Skywalker, George Lucas's big studio, you know. And Andy Johnson's like, okay, guys, I want you all to go out, gather around the mic, and we'll do some background vocals, right? So we're all standing around it, the three of us, Chad, Mike, and Sammy, and myself. And, you know, first couple of passes, and then the engineer comes on and says, hey, Mikey, can you step back a little bit, right? And then we do another pass, and then, okay, Joe, can you step closer a little bit, right? Okay, then, hey, Mikey, can you take 3 more steps back, all right? And then, hey, Sam, can you step back? So anyway, long story short, this is me singing this far away from the mic. And Mikey, of course, is across the room because he's like some sort of human, like, laser vocal thing. It's like, you do not want to be in front of his mouth when he starts singing. It's so loud. And of course, Sammy's voice is like the Grand Canyon. You know what I mean? It's like when he opens his mouth, you can never hear yourself. So he's back over here. Chad's right next to me, but he's got a pretty gregarious voice. With me, my voice is about this big. So that's why I'm not singing for you today. It's too embarrassing.
Okay. Well,
I'm putting the mic away.
I would have been remiss if I hadn't asked. So. That's great.
Funny.
So in 2008, you joined the supergroup Chickenfoot.
Yep.
I mean, what a great band. Love all the tunes. And I just want to know, I mean, how'd that happen? Sammy call you?
Yeah. I got a call Super Bowl weekend. You know, when Sammy calls, you pick up the phone and you hold it about this far away. So I'm listening, and it's like, Joe, it's Sammy. He's screaming at me. He's telling me, you got to get on a plane. I'm sending you a ticket. We're just going to play. Chad's going to be there. Mike's going to be there. We'll just play some Zeppelin and, you know, have some fun. So I was like, yeah, sure. Sounds like a great idea. And of course, right after we finished, we played like rock and roll. I think we played Mr. Fantasy by Traffic. I forget what else we did. I'm Going Down, I think we played. It was just obvious we were meant to play together. Mm-hmm. It was just synergy that was wow. And there was so much energy, really great. And nobody stepping on anybody's toes, you know, musically. It was just really beautiful. And so we walk off stage and everyone's feeling it like we are backstage. And there's just a lot of this activity. Everyone's so happy. Everyone's saying, we got to make it a band. We got to make it a band. And Sammy says, you know, we should call it Chickenfoot. And everybody all at once yells, no, that's a terrible idea. And of course, that's what stuck.
Where did he get that?
That from what he's told me a few stories. Excuse me.
Oh, did all the stories, they didn't all match?
They're pretty close, but I think the one that I heard the most was that he was doing some sort of like a battle of the bands kind of thing when he was really young, and his band was playing, and it wasn't really a real band. So as he was about to take the stage, the MC said, "What do I call you guys?" And he just blurted it out. He said, "Call us Chickenfoot." And it became, for him and his friends, it became a sort of a joke, a code word for anything that was doomed to fail. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so we just, after a while, we realized there's no getting around it. It's so wrong as a band name that it's perfect, you know?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So we, you know, it's just the band, that first record, you know, first I have to say we had so much tragedy in the band that we had to put up with, but at the same time, the spirit of everybody really is what made that band happen. And just the love of music and the brotherhood of you know, being with each other really helped us through all the times that challenged us as a band, you know. But I'm really happy that we were able to record those two records. I mean, and the live DVD, and it's, you know, just, it's great. It's a gift when you get given something like that, you know, and you can make some music for people. It's a gift.
What's in the future for that project?
You know, boy, Sam and I, like I said, we were talking yesterday for a few hours, and we were, you know, voicing our concerns about like what the future of touring is for, you know, for bands like ours. It's really rough, and we're not really quite sure what we can do. Everyone's busy doing other things. I'm sure as soon as, you know, the current global crisis is abated somehow, is lifted somehow, that everyone's main job, you know, the Chili Peppers and everything else, that's going to be the main concern, is to get that ball rolling again. And so Chickenfoot, being a kind of a technically a side project, would wait, you know. And so, yeah, I'm not sure it's there, you know, that, you know, making another record is the thing to do. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Although I got to say, if Sammy called me up and said he wanted to do it, that I would probably start writing, because that's generally how I respond.
Right.
When someone, you know, calls me like that, that's the first thing I start doing, is writing songs for it.
Well, I hope you do another album.
That'd be great. I'll let him know you said that.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll care. But yeah, that would be awesome if you guys wind up doing that. Let's kind of change directions and talk about your solo career for a few minutes.
Sure.
Your first album, Not of This Earth, was released, I think, in '86.
Yeah.
But your second album in '87, Surfing with the Alien, and that was a cool cover, by the way, really took off, right?
Yeah, that changed everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first record was kind of weird. I mean, that was actually my second solo record. The first thing I did was on my own label, and it was an EP. It was very avant-garde little EP. And then I maxed out a credit card to record Not of This Earth. I was going to release it on my own label. Steve Vai made a connection for me to Relativity Records that had just signed him for a P&D deal for his Flexible EP. And so I was, that year, I was trying to get Relativity release that record. It took a year and a half for the album from completion to release. During that period, I joined the Greg Kihn Band and recorded an album with him and toured with him that whole year while I was trying to make up the money that I spent making Not of This Earth. And then at the end of that year, I did a showcase in New York City for the record company, and it was only after I played that they decided to sign me for a multiple record deal. And it's because I played like Satch Boogie and a few other songs that I had been working on at the time. And they understood that I wanted to create an album that would celebrate my favorite influences, you know, Chuck Berry to Hendrix, everything. And they kind of got it, even though I didn't look, as the president said to me in front of the whole record company, he says, "You don't look like a rock star." And I was like, you know, like, yeah, okay. But
wow.
But he signed me anyway, and it was mainly because my champion at the label was Cliff Culturri. He was the head of an A&R. He was a guitar playing phenomenon himself, and he signed Steve Vai and myself and Alan Holdsworth and John McLaughlin and Steve Morse. He loved guitar players, and he got the label to support us by giving us our first record deals. But it was a surprise to them when, in '87, October of '87, the week of the stock market crash, that the Surfing got released, and it just stayed on the charts. It just kept going up and up and up, and we got so much support. Like, I think Redbeard, right? He's from Dallas, right? Right? He gave me so much support. I love that guy. He just started playing everything on that record, and there were a couple of cities around the U.S. that just gave me so much radio support back when there were a ton of rock stations,
Right.
And they really made that happen for me. I'm deeply indebted to them for that, so that, yeah, and I was so happy. You know why? Because if my previous band had had a platinum album like the Squares, my career would have been sort of saddled with being in a pop band. You know what I mean? I never would have been able to grow out of it. Yeah. But this record, Surfing with the Alien, I loved every track on it, and it was really me. There was nothing on it that was not me. And so it was a perfect record for, to be the biggest selling one, because to this day, I love playing all those songs live. There's no artistic conflict with it, like with some other bands, they get famous for the wrong song, and it kind of breaks the band up. It's like they become one-hit wonders because they didn't actually get famous with the song that represented who they really were, Right. But that album was pretty much who I was at the time. So it was a great stroke of luck, that happened.
Well, your next release, The Extremist, it turned out to be the most successful album, right?
Well, I think sales-wise, even though there was a bit of a funny thing, because it was pre-SoundScan, Surfing.
Right.
And so, and even through all the audits, I'm sure we never got all of our things. But that's basically, Surfing is a multi-platinum record. The follow-up, Flying in a Blue Dream, same thing. And The Extremist came out in '92.
Right.
And in summer of '92. And that one, up to date, was actually not the one that sold the most. It was the one that I spent the most on.
Oh,
which is sort of the opposite, right?
Yeah, another credit card.
No, that one was well funded by Relativity, but the problem is that I thought that if I used the guys from the Jagger Band and we went to Woodstock to record it, that it would be the thing, and it turned out it wasn't the thing. A couple of the songs they were perfect for, but the real straight ahead rockers, for some reason, I couldn't get message across about how to do it. And I took about 6-9 months off. And then when I got back to it, my manager had recommended the very famous producer, Andy Johns. And at the time he was working with Van Halen. So I went down to Eddie's studio and I met with Andy and we hit it off. And Andy helped, came in and produced the rest of that record for me. A lot of the work had been done by my friend and engineer, John Cuniberti. And so there were a couple of songs that Andy didn't want to redo because he thought John's work was pretty stellar on it. And then there were a few songs like Summer Song is really a combination of John Cuniberti and Andy Johns getting together. But that was quite a trip because I had to sort of move to LA for 5 months and live, in a hotel.
Yeah.
And I was recording at Ocean Way, a huge studio with this famous, I don't know if you ever met Andy Johns, but he was just like larger than life, just a big, gregarious British rock and roll producer. Is like, he not only did he have the goods, but he also had that Spinal Tap thing with him as well.
Yeah.
I love the guy to death. I mean, I was the one who brought him in to do the first Chickenfoot record because I thought he's the only one who's bigger and louder than Sammy. And Chad. And they'll have to listen to him, so.
Right.
God bless him. Yeah.
So your latest release, is it your 17th or 18th?
I think it's the 17th. 17th. Yeah.
Shapeshifting.
Shapeshifting.
You released it in 2020.
Isn't that crazy? April
Yeah.
10th. It seems like some other parallel universe ago, you know?
Right.
Wow. I went down to Valencia, California, recorded with Jim Scott, amazing, multi-platinum selling, Grammy-winning producer, engineer. What a great guy. And just had so much fun at his warehouse studio, just like playhouse for a musician. I got Chris Chaney back on bass and Kenny Aronoff on drums. I don't know if you've ever spoken to Kenny. He's one of my favorite human beings on the planet. Amazing drummer and, you know, definitely certifiable.
Oh, good. I love those guys. They make a great show, Joe.
They do. And Kenny's amazing. And right now, I mean, I'm really jealous because right now in Los Angeles, he's recording an album of mine with my co-writer, co-producer, Eric Kojia, and I can't be there for it. So they've been recording. I've been, you know, I'm here at the studio and I email tracks and they get done down there because I can't be with my band, you know.
Right. So, that sucks.
But yeah, so yeah, that's what's happening right now. So yeah, we never did get to take Shapeshifting on the road, but it did get me my highest chart position ever. Sold really well, and I'm happy that during this crazy period that at least we did our job, which is to make music. That's a musician's job, is to make music for people. So we didn't shirk on our responsibility just because of a virus. And we're busy right now. So we'll put out another record this year of crazy instrumentals. It'll be as different as all the other records are from each other. And hopefully my vocal record with Ned Evans will come out sometime this year as well. So yeah, I'm keeping busy. Don't want to be lazy.
No, not at all, Joe. So what's next for Joe Satriani?
Yes. They're sitting outside through the door in the art room are prints of the Time Shredder guitar. So I did all this artwork of crazy prints with Scene 4 Art Collective down in Los Angeles. And then we did a lot of things where I painted on top of canvases. And anyway, so so Wentworth Gallery commissioned 11 guitars from me to paint by hand, and I finished those off. They've been sent off to the finisher, and to sort of be mates to these things, we've decided we're going to do these prints of the Time Shredder, and then I'm going to hand illustrate each one of these prints. So I know that as soon as this phone call is over, I've got to go out there and start working on those. Crazy thing is, I have no idea what I'm going to do yet. So I won't know until I actually pick up the paintbrush and start working on it.
Wow.
And then, as I alluded to, into the wall that you can't see, over there, I'm looking at the instrumental album with 16 songs and the vocal album with 12 songs that we're in the process of finishing. So
no titles?
No
titles
not yet.
Yeah.
I gotta get going on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for reminding me.
I'm sure it'll be some kind of space
fiction, right?
Science fiction theme, right?
I got to come up with something. I mean, some of the songs are really weird, I got to say.
Were you like a Trekkie?
Yes. I actually, when I was like 7 or 8 years old, me and a bunch of friends started the UFO Society.
Really?
I'm sure it lasted a week. You know, we were just crazy about UFOs. And I always loved, and my parents didn't allow comic books in the house. So, but there was just tons of novels everywhere. And they let me read, you know, Ray Bradbury and Harlan Ellison and all the, you know, as long as it was deep, good writing, they let me read it.
Right.
So I got into science fiction really early and just really took to it, just fascinated by the freedom of ideas expressed. And then, you know, they're really about human beings and how they deal with each other. That's ultimately what these things are. It's just that their settings are quite unique and fantastical, you know.
Right.
So yeah, I should probably think about that. But some of these songs I'm working on the instrumental record are so out there they probably might remind people of stuff I did way earlier, like maybe 30 years ago. And then when they hear the vocal record, they'll be really surprised, but they'll love Ned's voice because he's got a beautiful singing voice, you know, like Sam, just like huge sounding, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. I got to stay focused on that.
Joe, I want to thank you so much for being on my show today. It's just really been a blast.
Thank you. This has been great. Thanks. I hope I didn't go on too much, but
Dude, I could have gave you a couple of more hours, but I knew at some point we were going to go take a piss, so I figured we better cut it off.
Good idea.
Man, I just wish you and your family and your bandmates the best of health, happiness, and continued success, Joe. Really do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And same to you and all your listeners. Thank you very much. Stay safe and stay well.
We will, Joe. And you can follow Joe by going to his website at www.satriani.com. Also, you can go wherever you buy music and get you some Joe Satriani today. I'll have links in the description below, so all you have to do is click. Just make it real easy for you. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with Joe and I today. Please like and share this video and click subscribe to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's free, and then click that tiny bell to receive notifications when I post something new. That will wrap this episode of Barside Jive. Until next time, peace, love, and rock and roll.
Barside Jive shall not be responsible for any incorrect or inaccurate information caused by this broadcast. Barside Jive does assume, however, all responsibility for the satirical nature of its content and for the occasional fictional nature of its content. All characters appearing in this broadcast, even those based on real people, except for our featured guests, of course, are entirely fictional, and any resemblance between them and any persons living dead or undead is purely a